Welcome back to the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Hauling grain and livestock over the roads can raise questions about state and federal transportation regulations. The team at Ohio Farm Bureau has created the Farmer's Guide to Trucking Regulations as a free resource exclusively for members of Ohio Farm Bureau. Joining us to talk more about it is Leah Hetrick, Director of Legal Education and Member Engagement with Ohio Farm Bureau. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So why did Ohio Farm Bureau put something like this together for our members?
Yeah, so as you know, there's a ton of exemptions for agriculture, and there is no exception when it comes to trucking. There is a lot of exemptions when it comes to hauling things to and from your farm. And with that, there comes a lot of questions. Navigating through both state and federal law and all the agencies that go through those and make sure people are following the rules can be really hard sometimes. And we would receive a lot of questions from members. So one thing we've done is put all those laws together and try to explain them in a way that's a little more palatable, easy to go through, so our members have a way to do that one-stop shop, look through all those and see if they're following the laws.
So what types of things are in this guide for our members to peruse?
So we really go through, the baseline. What does a CDL require? What do you need? What does your truck need? Just baseline if you're not a farmer. And then we go ahead and apply those farm exemptions. Some examples are, the weight and the load, if you actually need a CDL, if you have the CDL, what you can and can't do with that. We really dig into some of those hazardous transportation rules, and that goes through some of the do's and don'ts when you're transporting hazardous materials. With the fertilizers, it can be hard to understand what you can and can't go down the road with and when you can and can't do it. So that's a really big input that we did this year.
So I mentioned this is exclusive to Ohio Farm Bureau members. How can they go about downloading this and getting into their hands?
So you can either go to your county farm bureau and ask them how to get either a print copy, or they can help you access it online, which is another place where you can get it through the benefit portal within our online platform.
Leah Hetrick, Director of Legal Education and Member Engagement with Ohio Farm Bureau. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Since 1919, Ohio Farm Bureau has been working for you, advocating for farm families, for Ohio agriculture, and our local communities. From the State House in Columbus, all the way to Washington, D.C., Ohio Farm Bureau is feeding your need for new ideas. As we look towards the future and the changes coming along with it, one thing will never change: our mission. Working together for Ohio farmers to advance agriculture and strengthen our communities. Learn more and become a member today at ohiofarmbureau.org.
Find out how Nationwide Agribusiness can help you grow your business. Get to know the people with the experience and knowledge to help you. Whether you are looking to protect your farm or ranch from the ground up, or need someone who understands your changing commercial ag needs. Find out how to better manage the risks of your ag business, or how quickly you can get back to business. Learn how you can protect your next with Nationwide on your side.
Welcome back to the Ohio Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Ty Higgins. Last year, there were at least 42 grain entrapments across rural America, resulting in 15 fatalities. That's the highest number in more than a decade. To help prevent these tragic accidents and deaths, Nationwide and its partners, including Ohio Farm Bureau, have awarded life-saving grain rescue tubes and training to 60 fire departments across rural America through Nationwide's annual Grain Bin Safety Campaign. To talk more about it is Laramie Sandquist, Risk Management Leader for Nationwide Agribusiness. Laramie, great to have you back on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ty. Appreciate it.
This has been an important mission for Nationwide now for close to a decade.
Yeah, we started this back in 2014. We knew that this was an ongoing issue prior to 2014. And in 2014, we really just put our foot down and said, you know what, we're seeing some of these claims come through. We're seeing how these claims are impacting communities, obviously the farm families, but overall the industry as a whole. And we said, we got to do something to get in front of this. So an all-out campaign that we started back then, and we partnered, as you talked about, with a lot of different industries to get this up and running, and it's grown ever since. And we understand that the training and the education piece of it is probably the biggest part of this. The tubes themselves are, hopefully they're just the piece of equipment that is there in the event of something happening, but we try to stay proactive with the training and the prevention side so that we don't ever have to use those tubes, Ty.
Your very first partner is the National Education Center for Ag Safety. How do they fit into this conversation?
Yeah, no doubt. They continue to be our training partner across the country. So when we deliver these tubes, 60 of these tubes to rural fire departments in 2023 alone, they are the ones that are doing all the training across the country. They partner with us. We'll send some of our risk management folks out along with them. I was actually fortunate enough to do a training up in at one of the community colleges here in Iowa over the summer. I was the dummy that they put in the entrapment area itself. So I was up to my waist in corn, and it's pretty unnerving. But we did have 100 college students at that one. It was a great environment. We got to actually sit up and talk to them as a panel. And the training center themselves are doing that for all of these venues across the country. So we couldn't do this without them helping out from a training standpoint.
How are the fire departments chosen to receive these grain rescue tubes?
Yeah, we get nominations all across the country. So unfortunately, we can't fulfill every one of them, but we have a nomination committee here within Nationwide and within NECAS that we look at all the applications, we look at what we've done previously, and we look at where we have spread across the country. And that nominating committee, which doesn't include me, it's always a surprise to me too on who gets selected for these, will come out and give recommendations on where we should deploy these resources. So it's a great opportunity. I think we had over 1,800 applicants last year. We unfortunately were only able to pick 60 of those, but definitely a good process, and that process will start again in 2024.
Rural fire departments in Ohio have not only received these rescue tubes through this initiative, but one was actually put to use in Ohio earlier this year.
Yeah, we have seen these put in use, 7 saves so far since we started the campaign, obviously a local one there in Ohio with you guys. But every single one of them is definitely a life-changing process for everyone involved, not only the person being rescued, but also the fire department, the surrounding community, and everyone that jumps on board with that. So we're happy these are being used, and we're happy that it's part of the arsenal for the fire departments to use. But like I said earlier, we're trying to stay on the front end of this as well and get the education out there, and appreciate you supporting that as well and allowing us to get on these podcasts and share the word.
And it's not just giving these fire departments these rescue tubes and training and then kind of saying, okay, now it's all yours. The training continues because a lot of things change with technology and thought processes and training abilities.
Yeah, no doubt. You think back to we started this in 2014, and some of those fire departments have never put these things to use, which is a good thing. But they also probably have turned over. A lot of these are volunteer fire departments. You have turnover of staff in those fire departments, and you're talking a decade now that we've been doing this. So part of this campaign is putting resources into retraining some of these departments across the country, specifically some of those departments that got some of those early tubes, so that we are staying on top of this. Because that's the last thing you want is for them to actually have to deploy these and use these and not have anyone within the force that has actually been trained on these. So trying to do that continuous education process is key.
This all starts with the nationwide Nominate Your Fire Department contest. When do nominations start here for 2024?
Yeah, 2024 starts January 1st. So we'll run that from January 21st through April 30th of 2024. So they can go to grainbinsafetyweek.com and get those nominations out there. We will definitely be pushing this obviously a lot harder once we get into February timeframe with Grain Bin Safety Week. But those nominations can start starting here on January 1st.
Laramie Sandquist, risk management leader for Nationwide Agribusiness. Have to say, Laramie, behind you there, I see your license plate with the Ohio Farm Bureau logo. So I appreciate you displaying the swag as we're having this conversation here today.
No doubt. Appreciate having it. And I got the socks too, but I just can't show them to.
Great to see you. Thanks for the information.
Thanks a lot, Ty.